Hello and welcome to the Daily Atheist Morning Show. It is Saturday. We made it to Saturday finally. It's finally Saturday. We've done it. I gotta say, I kid not. This is totally from my heart, totally the truth. Saturday is my favorite day. If I had to give up everything and just do one show, and that was the only show I could possibly do, I would keep the Sci-Fi Saturday show because it is just awesome, and I love Sci-Fi Saturday. Partly because of my amazing and wonderful... Oh, wait. Let me do the thing. I'm sorry. Hello and welcome to Daily Atheist Morning Show. It is Saturday, the 1st of August. I am your host, the amazing Super Chris. I hope you had a wonderful week. Now we introduce the co-host. Good morning, Miss Leighann. How are you doing?
Good morning, Chris. I am well.
Good. Did you have a good week?
I think so. I think it's been a decent week. I mean, it's got its ups, it's got its downs. You know, we even out in the middle. We're fine.
True.
We're totally fine. True.
Yeah. Well, we'll get back to you in just a second, but because yesterday was great, wonderful. Let me introduce Brian, the BrainBug. Good morning, Brian. How are you doing?
Good morning, Chris. Good morning, Leighann. I'm happy to be here this Saturday morning.
Thank you. You know, that's good. I don't know if you people know this or not, but this is the BrainBug. He runs the BrainBug channel. We'll talk about that in just a second because it's really fascinating. But he's also the BrainBug you often see in a lot of these atheist content creator chats. So, Miss Leighann, you probably know BrainBug from just covering chats in the thing, even if you don't know him from our show.
Well,
so
one of the other guests, when I posted on Twitter about the show, and she's like, BrainBug from the chat?
That's right.
Yeah.
One and only.
That's me. Yeah, I like to support the community. I think that we all what is it, the rising tides thing that you love so much, Chris?
Yes, rising tides lift all boats. Yes.
Yeah, I'll be out there supporting everybody. If you if you're part of this community, we like to lift up your voice.
Wonderful. Thank you. Well, you know, one of the things whenever I was sitting there, we got BrainBug on the show and he's going to be my guest. And of course, naturally, there's lots of bugs in sci-fi. I mean, yeah, lots of bugs. And I was like, ooh, bugs in space. Yay, we're going to do a show. Now, in my mind, I'm thinking it was going to be, well, I know what I was thinking, but that often doesn't seem to matter. But I had other thoughts. So I want to find out. I want to get going. But as we got to warming up the show this morning, I discovered something that I didn't know whenever I set up the show and the title. I did not know that Miss Leighann doesn't particularly care for bugs.
Yeah, not at all. Completely bug phobic. Like to the point of I've never seen arachnophobia. Like, nope. Nope. Like I remember when this was years ago when the movie came out and then the trailer was like, I clicked. Nope, I'm not even watching trailer. No, can't do it.
Okay. Well, I've known a couple of people who were that way a little bit, but
I'm that way a lot of it.
You're that way a lot of bit.
Snakes. I guess I live in a part of the country where snakes aren't an issue, but we did have one in my kindergarten class. You know, and he was fine. He didn't bother nobody.
You know, I think I know just about as many people that have a phobia of mice as they do of spiders. It's I don't know what it is about the way they move.
They're very fast.
Yeah.
Is that?
Well, I mean, that's been my experience. That's of course anecdotal, but I know several people, and they're all women, but they have a phobia of rodents in general. My wife doesn't even like ferrets. And ferrets are actually carnivores, but yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess they're fine in their environment. When they come into my environment, now it's war.
Yeah.
See, that speaks to my core right there. That's why it's called nature, because it's supposed to be out there,
outside, out there.
And bugs and insects are supposed to be out there. In fact, I am allergic to, I believe, every insect venom or toxin or poison, whatever. I know it's a specific word, but I'm allergic to them all. I'm supremely confident that. I'm allergic to all of your poison ivies. I'm allergic to all of your bear saliva, mountain lion teeth, fangs, claws. I'm allergic to all that stuff, and I avoid it at all costs.
I could disturb you right now by explaining how many arthropods there are on you right now, but I won't.
Clearly, I'm already disturbed, but no, yeah. Yeah, and those little face things that are going around on my face right now, I'm sure they're.
Yeah.
No. Wait.
Don't ask. Don't tell.
That's right. See that the whole purpose. The whole purpose of my gentle intro, the way I was trying to do it, was so because we were going to go. We're not going to talk hardcore, gross bug stuff because we don't want to gross out Miss Leighann. But really, before I didn't even think about that. I was planning the show thinking of xenomorphs from Alien. Those are bugs. We call them bugs. It's a bug hunt. You know Alien.
You've seen Alien, kind of right, Leighann?
I'm sorry, what was that?
You've seen Alien?
Oh, of course. It's one of the greatest films,
Hell yeah.
Of course. Those are the kind of bugs we were
very
thinking
disturbing,
about.
right. And just the different manifestations that species takes. There's the egg, and then the face thing, and then out of your stomach, and then it gets really big, and then, it's really smart, and it's like, wow, we don't stand a chance.
That's right. Yeah. True. Yeah. So you're okay. Have you seen Starship Troopers, Miss Leighann?
Yes, I have.
Okay, yes, now, are you okay with those bugs? Remember those bugs? The worst ones, I think, in that are the little bitty ones that run around on the ground that look like big cockroaches.
Right, yeah.
They dissect one.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, that's
I did watch the movie, though. But that was killing the bugs. So, yay, bug murder. Sorry, BrainBug.
Okay. I will make an argument that the bugs were the good guys in that movie or in that series.
I can see that. I can definitely see an argument for that. Because it does seem like the humans are once again being intrusive. Right.
Yeah. Well, and then it's if they're not so subtle about, hey, these humans are fascist. they're not hiding that underneath anything. They kind of delve into that the political stuff at the very beginning. But the bugs, on the other hand, are just insects being social.
Well, my understanding is the original book was written by a guy who was, and I'm going to go quick, so forgive me if I'm not exact, but he was kind of a fascist, and he wrote it in a pro-fascist fashion. But the person who made the movie turned it into kind of like a mocking of the pro-fascist stance. So it's all pro-fascism, but it's like an over-exaggerated, overblown version of it. I think it's hilarious. That's one of my favorite movies.
Michael Ironsides, he chews that up so well, talking about violence is the only thing that actually works in the world. We build our whole society on the fact that violence is the most important thing.
Naked violence has resolved more conflicts and issues than any other form of, and it's not wrong when you think about it. When you eliminate like any kind of morality to, it doesn't matter the who's right, the who's wrong. It's just, I come beat you in the face and whoever wins is right. Technically, I guess, by that perspective. Oh, you know what, guys? I forgot to say hello to the damnation over in the chat. Junk Shop Library. Laughing in Disbelief has a very interesting question. That's Andy Hall. BrainBug. I'll get to that in just a second. Hi, Andy. Gordon Fiala. I hope I said that right. Good morning, Gordon. Junk Shop Library. Julie, Junk Shop, and Julie are probably around. Tons of mice are here. There's lots of wonderful people. Thank you all for joining us. And I always got to say hi to the people on Facebook who are watching. We've streamed to about 10 or 12 Facebook pages and groups. And I want to say hi to you people. And of course, the YouTube reviewer who has to go back and watch every episode. And I know this is kind of new. I forgot to do it yesterday. We are also streaming live to my podcast. So I want to say hi to the people who are listening on the podcast. So that's amazing. Good morning, everybody. Hi, thank you all for joining us.
Hi, you guys. I've been scrolling through my library and I can't find the book. There was a very famous book about a kid. They're training kids to fight the bugs in space. Do you guys know what I'm talking about?
Is that Ender's Game?
Ender's Game. Okay, thank you so much. So as bug phobic as I am, yes, I've read and seen lots of sci-fi stuff, and in that as well. If you keep reading in the series, once again, were humans the good guys there?
No, the humans were not the good guys. No, I know that.
I think that, yeah, that's the revelation there when, I don't want to give any spoilers, but yeah. Well, you find
it's an old series.
Yeah.
Well, I enjoyed the movie, but you kind of get that in the movie. You get that feel. I mean, why are they here? They need water. Their civilization is dying. They need water. They attacked us because they needed water, and that's it. That was a long time ago. And now they're just trying to survive, and we've beat them all the way back. And all they're trying to do is get water. We find them getting water, and we kill them getting water. So they can't. Now they're even more desperate, and it's really we're right off their home world. Beating them down. Clearly, I never took it that we were the good guys in that. Yeah. Just based on maybe I have a weird view of things. I don't know.
Well, there's, so they could, like, Independence Day, they describe them like locusts that just come through and wipe everything out. That's, they kind of justify that, these are a pestilence in the galaxy or whatever. In the original film, I don't recall much about the sequel that came out, but
there was a sequel. Wait, there was a sequel to Ender's Game?
No,
I'm sorry, I got distracted by the show. Independence Day. Pardon me. Carry on with your.
Well, because it's kind of the same scenario, maybe it's not the same scenario because they make the stipulations that the aliens in Independence Day are going to come through and just rip all the resources out of the earth, just industrialize it and harvest it and move on.
Oh, they're going to be Americans? What?
Right.
How terrible.
They're gonna colonizers, right? Gonna come through and cultivate. Wow. But I didn't get that impression about the aliens from Ender's Game, though. I thought it seemed like they were going extinct.
Well, they were, as far as them being what? No, yeah, that was the deal. They were. I thought that I always got the impression they were. Yeah, they were in a bind. The reason why they attacked us is because they needed, I'm quoting, the water. They were already dying.
You kind of find that out, maybe 2 or 3 books in,
Oh yeah, I never read the books. Too many words. Lots of words. Lots
of words. But to speak to the issue of violence, and that's one of my favorite, I guess, scenes or quotes from the book. Why Ender gets picked. He has a fight with another kid who's bigger than him. And he fights the kid back so ferociously that the kid dies. And he thinks that's why he got kicked out of school in the book. And the guy is asking him, why did you fight that hard? He said, because I had to win all the fights. Not just that one. I had to win them all. He had to put that kid down. And that is such a concept. The men in my life, because women, I'm not sure if they think that way. And I could be being very sexist here. But it seems like boys are raised very differently, at least in my generation. And when you had a fight, that's kind of how you had to fight, or you would keep fighting every week. So the ruffians, I'm saying, the men in my life who have been ruffians in their childhood understood that street mentality, which made Ender perfect for the job they chose him for.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know if they did that convey very well in the movie. I don't remember much about the movie. It was all right, but
it was all right. It was all right. But I mean, they couldn't have made the movie without it because that was critical. Because he was little, even though he was little, but he was smart. He was gonna have a tough time.
And he did try to talk his way out of it.
He did. Yeah. It's almost like when Doctor Who. He's all laughy and jokey. He's like, you don't want me to bring it. You don't want me to. Oh, now I gotta bring it. And then you see Dark Doctor Who, and it's like, oh, y'all should have left him alone.
Yeah. Well, in that particular deal, though, that's a great, because he really did. He tried to talk his way out of it. That's something that apparently from the show, the humans never really tried to do. They weren't interested in talking to the aliens at all. They just wanted to defeat them and destroy them in total destruction. Just die.
Yeah.
And now in the movie, I never got the sense, and maybe I just missed it. I probably need to watch it again, but I never got the sense that the other kid died. He just got his ass kicked is all I thought happened.
They may not have shown that in the movie, but in the book, he didn't make it.
Oh.
And that might have been too rough for people. you know, in the movie. If you don't recall that, and maybe they didn't do it, but he was hurt.
Yeah.
He was severely hurt.
I do remember that.
I know that one of my kids read that as part of their one of the book options they could read in like 8th grade. So I mean, it deals with some heavy issues. So
yeah.
But I haven't read the book. I've only ever watched the movie.
I'm always amazed. Young adult books, you know, they really do deal with some dark themes. Like I remember reading The Hunger Games, and I wasn't a kid, but it was just a book club book. It was popular. You know, my friends were like, hey, let's read it. And I was like, this is for kids? This is for young people? This is kind of rough. Like, even as an adult, I was like, woo. And they were like, well, really? If you finish it, it'll be good. And it actually was, but I'm like, I don't really recall my young adult books being that dark. Well, or maybe we just had Disney movies for that.
I remember reading like stuff like The Outsiders that dealt with some darker issues.
Okay.
But not so much like where it deals with like dystopia, where the
right
dealing with people. Well, I don't know, some of the Holocaust books that we read, like, you know, the Diary of Anne Frank and stuff like that they'd read in school.
But that's not fiction.
Stuff. Yeah, and that's the worst or the scariest part about it is that you know, it's not. This isn't even fiction. This is stuff that actually happened to people.
We had that question from Andy Hall from Pathos, Laughing in Disbelief over it. He had a question for BrainBug, and that was, what is it that limits the size of insects? Is it the lungs? I heard it was the fact they don't have lungs necessarily.
Yeah, they have passages that run down their body called spiracles, and they basically absorb oxygen right through those. They don't inhale it and then exhale it. The air that goes in there is how they get the oxygen in their bodies to function. Now, I don't want to get too technical on it, but basically during the period in the Paleozoic, the era before the dinosaurs, there was the Cambrian period where oxygen levels were like through the roof. So we did have giant bugs. You'll see Arthropleura, it's like a big centipede kind of. You'll see giant dragonflies and giant scorpions, all kinds of wicked giant bugs and insects and spiders. Spiders came around during the Triassic, but I'm not going to get into that. I can get all technical here. I don't want to bore everybody, but during that time period, we were able to see huge arthropods. But today, the oxygen levels are too low on Earth anyway. But all these alien planets.
You never know.
I have a question, because I feel like almost like we haven't had a really proper introduction, Brian. Like, what do you do? Why is BrainBug your moniker? Why I'm noticing your background. You're very invested in the bug world. Like what? So is this a vocation? Is this an avocation? Is this, you know, a deep love? Like, what's going on here?
Yeah. I'm a big nerd. I enjoy insects, and I enjoy animals in general. I've always researched and studied those. I did not go to school for anything in that field, but I just so I'm more of a hobbyist, really. But I just and I consider myself maybe a science communicator, because I like to talk about it and teach people about the stuff that I know about insects and spiders and all that good stuff. I just like to put that information out there and spread the science. I'm an advocate for science literacy. I want to spread that message.
You know, I just want to say real quick, and Miss Leighann, you may think I'm lying here. I ain't lying, though. This man has bugs mailed to his home in packages. They come to his home. Are you
ordering them on Amazon? What's happening here? Is that
yes? I know, right?
There's a couple of great suppliers for invertebrates. There's online. There is Bugs in Cyberspace, and there is then there is Ken the Bug Guy. Ken the Bug Guy is out of Arizona. Bugs in cyberspace, I want to say somewhere out of the Northwest. I don't know. I want to say Washington, but it might be Oregon. Anyhow, they're both West Coast, but they have quite interesting selections. And then there's other things you can do. I just got this in the mail from France, actually. And these are giant leaf insect eggs. They're huge too. Philium is the genus, but they get pretty big. They eat plants and stuff, but fascinating creatures. And sent to me from Europe. Took about 10 days, but yeah.
I love it. You're ordering bugs, and I literally had the exterminator in last week because we had a gentrification, not an infestation, a gentrification of black ants in my house. But I mean, in this area where I live, it's definitely an area like every spring, every summer, the black ants go, hey, I like this house, or they like the entire neighborhood. And when I called my exterminator friend, I said, it looks like they have gotten bigger and faster. He said, yeah, a little bit. And he really, it's weird. He's an exterminator, but he knows bugs. And so he was talking to me about, even though the black ants might look the same, they're not. They're like different sections of their bodies and how they're armored. Mm-hmm. And, because it's been very rainy here. And I'm like, does that make it better for them? He goes, yeah, it kind of does. In a certain way. So I got this sort of education that I didn't ask for, but it was interesting. No, but it was interesting. And I'm like, okay, thank you. Can you get them out of here? Because apparently I heard that cats like to catch things and give them to you. My cat was not interested in that at all. He's like, yeah, you're gonna have to deal with these ants on your own. I
actually did a tweet just the other day about what you're talking about. There's actually there's no set day for it, but it's called Flying Ant Day. There's one day in the summer after it rains for a few days and the temperatures and humidity just get just right, that new queens come out of their colony and fly away to start their own colonies. That's how they spread. That's kind of what
like you see. Ant queen cotillion.
This kind of goes in with what we're talking about here too, because that's what the arachnids are doing in Starship Troopers when they shoot out their spores like that. It's the same kind of concept. They're colonizing, they're spreading out. So it's actually a thing that arthropods do. So that's an apt assessment. And
am I correct? I'll ask. Ants seem to be collective. They're all about community. And working together. Spiders are like, yeah, I'm just gonna make this web over here by myself.
Right. Yeah. Spiders. There aren't too many species of arachnids that you'd say were social. One example would be harvestmen, or people call them daddy long legs. Sometimes they're not spiders, but they're arachnids. And you'll see people find the little clusters of them on the side of the wall or whatever, and go up and brush them, and they just spread out. I'm sure you've seen that. Looks like Leighann reliving it right now.
Okay, I just need to explain something to people. Normally, I try to be very good about putting whomever is speaking up in big. I'm not doing it wrong today. When BrainBug is speaking and starts getting into the details of bugs, I am intentionally putting Leighann up on the screen so we can see her face.
Dude, I'm trying. I'm really trying.
Great.
You're doing great.
Yeah.
This is one of the reasons why I haven't cleaned out my garage, because the spiders they've made an agreement. They've leased the building, and they're, I walk in, I'm like, hey fellas, I just want to grab something off the shelf. Like, can y'all not scare me?
Yes. Well, I have a distinct fear of spiders, but in sci-fi, we see all manner of bugs, but not a lot of spiders necessarily.
Right.
Yeah. Even occasionally, but go ahead. Brain.
Even the arachnids from Starship Troopers are more. They behave and live more like ants than what I call an arachnid.
And in the movie Ender's Game, they were called Formics, which is French for ants.
Yes, I'd forgotten that.
I know.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. I mean, Stephen King has a thing for spiders.
Oh yeah. Is it a spider?
Well,
sorry. Go ahead.
No, please, Brian. Please.
The antagonist to his whole universe, because he's kind of linked everything together with the Dark Tower series. The antagonists are the spider, like interdimensional demons, like what what Pennywise was in the It series. He's one of them.
Well, did I just hear the word? Are you a Stephen King fan, Brian?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
I love it. Because a lot of people who they might casually like Stephen King. They cannot get into the Dark Tower, and I've read the entire series. The movie was a giant disappointment, but it was a chance to watch Idris Elba, so I took it. But I love when you read all of his stuff, or so much of it. There are little things that are hints to the Dark Tower or to other things. I just love that. I love that about his writing.
Okay, I'm pretty all right. I'm not going to use the word uncultured, if that's a word, but I'm going to use the word uncultured and say I'm pretty uncultured, and I don't read a lot of books. Tell us about the Dark Tower. Can you wrap that up for us? Tell us about his Dark Tower trilogy and how it ties into all the rest of his stories, because I've seen many of his movies. How does it all tie in?
No Dark Tower in the Shawshank Redemption.
Well, yeah, it's. It may run. So I think that all the universes are connected. So they're not all the stories don't happen in the same universe, but they're all connected. Through this what is it called? The pillar. The tower has pillars coming off of it. And
the beams. Yeah, following the beams.
That's the word I'm looking for. It's been a few years since It's
been a minute. Yeah.
Many moons.
And some of the stuff in the movies kind of they weren't real clear about it either. So it didn't a lot of stuff didn't convey. And I don't know if it can convey because it's so interdimensional. It's so cerebral, I guess would be the best way to describe it. So reading it's one thing, but trying to portray it in a film, I don't know if they could do it justice. They gave it a shot.
They gave it a shot. I think because of the type of work that it is and the concepts that are presented and the interconnectivity, it might have done better as a miniseries or as a series, like a Netflix type of show.
I thought it would have been a good adult animation, but I don't know.
Ooh, that's an idea.
I think they would have had more to work with there.
Yeah.
But there's there's this. The spider is one of the pillars or the beams, or one of the beam. There's other animals too. There's the turtle,
right? The turtle, the bear, It's all. I'm sorry. I'm listening to us, and this has got to sound really weird to Chris.
Yeah.
Yes. No, but I'm interested because I'm waiting to hear it.
Well,
I like when stories are interconnected. Whenever you hear this is connected to that, is the bear connected to the Cujo story somehow connected to that? These are the kind of little tidbits of interest I'm waiting to hear. So you guys carry on.
It's more. I would say it's more connected to some of his. 2 Past Midnight, 3 Past Midnight, some of his horror stories, things like Christine. Stories. Things like, I'm trying to remember the book that he co-wrote. Definitely, the hotel one.
The Shining, yeah.
The Shining, and then the Shining Part 2.
Dr. Sleep.
Dr. Sleep. And I'm trying to think. There's another one where a little kid is going back and forth in between the zone, in between the worlds, and there are places where the world is thin, where you can cross over and cross back.
In his first book, The Eye of the Dragon, the one that takes place in that weird medieval world.
I love that.
And the antagonist in that is the same from The Stand.
Yes.
It's the same one from Randall Flagg.
Yes.
He's what do they call him in the Dark Tower? He's the Red King's right hand man, but I can't remember. He's got a different name in that.
Yeah, he does have a different name, and that's where you meet the main character is Roland Duchesne. He's one of the last of the gunslingers, and he comes from a world that's moved on. I think that's the phrase.
Yeah,
that
Gilead.
They use.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's from Gilead.
Not the Gilead from Handmaid's Tale, but different.
No, different Gilead. Different Gilead. Completely. And he's sort of on this quest. Like, his world has died, and you know, where there used to be a plethora of gunslingers, now it's just him.
And you'll see him travel through. He's kind of like he's traveling through a wasteland, but he finds like old gas stations and subway lines and stuff. Just all this weird stuff from other worlds that have moved on that were like ours. So it's kind of temporal. He's going through different levels of time too.
Right, and then he he assembles, I guess, his team or his family or his group from various worlds. Like it's almost like the multiverse, kind of. I'm probably using that word wrong, but I think it explains how he brings people together from different times and different timelines. And
he runs into people from his other books too. He runs into the Father Callahan from The Stand, the priest that killed the vampire. Or not The Stand, the Salem's Lot. I don't know why I said
Salem's Lot. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, the priest that helped him there.
Real quick, I want to say thank you to Jason, Dragons and Genesis, for the $2 of support. He says the talisman. What is it? Are you guys familiar with the talisman?
Yes. Oh my God, that's the book I was trying to remember.
And then what's the one with there's so many books that are tied
so many books.
You're talking how the series, this is a series, the Dark Tower series itself is 5 books, and then there's like 15 or 12 of his or something like that of his other books that all link into there as well. It's really
there was a Dark Tower journey series, the story that was, a lot of people didn't like it because it wasn't connected really to the other books, but they got pinned down somewhere because of the storm, and he's telling stories, and it gave you sort of a deeper background on him and his world. And I love the phrases that come out of the Dark Tower. I thank ye. Good day, Sai. I see thee well.
It's funny how they have "Hey Jude" running through the whole thing too. Everybody's like somebody whistling it or singing it off in the distance. It's by the Beatles. It's in these weird medieval world. People are singing.
Really?
Hey Jude.
Yeah. Oh, and there's even a connection. You see a little bit of a connection, but it's the whole idea of the world being thin and being able to cross over to various places in 11/22/63. That's how he's able to time travel.
He uses the same thin spots in reality. Yes. And they pull in some weird stuff too, like there's the snitches from Harry Potter that they have, and then lightsabers and stuff from it's really weird when they get into is that the Wizarding Glass? It's one of the later books, but if you're in the story, you've read a couple of the first ones, keep going because it gets really.
No, I would say even for Stephen King fans, the Dark Tower is definitely a labor of love. Like it's really And full disclosure, Chris, I do most of his books, so I do almost all of my books now, audiobooks. I just love the tell me a story and I get to listen type of thing. And he has really good readers. Occasionally he reads his own stuff, and I'm like, you should stop doing that, Steve, because his voice is really weird. But no, I love his books. I love what's the other? Insomnia. Insomnia is a good connector in that thin world, other beings on other levels, weirdness. But oddly enough, not one of his popular books though. Yeah, I think it's a little too weird for people.
The Rage says Roland meets Stephen King himself in the last book.
Yeah. I
didn't know that.
He breaks the fourth wall a little bit.
Yeah.
The Wolves of Kala has the Harry Potter and Marvel reference. Thank you.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Can I just say how much I love the nerdy community? We are amazing.
Him and Nakasuchi Nakasuchi from the Rage. They've both been out there dropping facts. I guess they're both fans of the series too. We need to start like a book club or something.
I know. I mean, you could literally, I think, have and there may even be one. You're like a Stephen King channel where you're just talking about his books and his movies, and because I contend that Stephen King on his worst day is still better than some people on their best.
Right.
You know. So I mean, the man is prolific. He builds worlds. He builds worlds that are accessible to readers. Because sometimes, like somebody like Frank Herbert, it's like, whoa, okay, let me finish college.
You know what?
Let me read Dune.
Stephen King grew up reading those the pulp magazines, like what H.P. Lovecraft started in, and Algernon Blackwood, all these old horror greats, because and you can see it in his work sometimes. That what is the one where he's got his own version of the Necronomicon, and in his world, it's something the worms. It's something about the worm. Anyway, he's got his own Eldritch tomb and everything that you can see is really inspiration from like Lovecraftian horror. And I always love Lovecraftian horror because it borders on sci-fi. Some of this stuff, it only seems magical or supernatural to the people in the stories because it's something we don't understand. It's beyond our human understanding. These entities, people go crazy trying to figure it out in these old stories. Now, of course, some of them don't hold up so good, but it's nice to get some inspiration from them or see that those themes are being carried on by writers even today.
Well, that's like the Langoliers. I don't think the Langoliers holds up. At least not the movie, but maybe it's because of when the movie was done.
That movie had the worst CG too.
Yeah, it did.
Effect on that.
Like if they redid it, with the tech that we have now, it would probably be a better film. Chris, I don't know if you know the story. Like these things are eating the world.
Hey, I actually am. Do you mind? It's about a time thing, and once time has passed, this time these things come and eat the world. Is that right? Would you kind of give us a rundown?
You just did.
That's basically, and it's really short.
That's the basis of it.
Some people on a plane go through one of those thin spots that we were talking about from the other stories. They go through one of those into this. It's kind of they're in the same situation like what you're in when you're what he's traveling through in the Dark Tower, at least in the first book, the first couple books, with him and through these broken, forgotten worlds. And those are the things that come and eat that waste. In those worlds, there's the stuff like I said, they have fuel stations and stuff, but their plane passes through it and the fuel doesn't work there. So they land in an airport and it's empty, and they try to fuel up, but the fuel doesn't work. And they the whole point is them trying to get off the ground in this spot and get back through one of these wormholes. But they speculate that if they put the fuel into the plane, that it'll actually start working again. So. That's the story plot. I'm not going to say whether they succeed or not. Read the short story, but
what was the actor's name? Bronson something who played. He was on there. He was on some sitcom
Perfect
for a
Strangers.
while.
Yes,
Perfect Strangers. And there's this scene where he's in there and he's just going nuts, and he's trying to, and he's taking it in back and he's ripping pieces of paper and he's ripping it. And goes, as he rips his paper. He's like going mad and he's trying to control it. I told the wife about that, and that's one of the things, sometimes when something's driving one of us nuts, we make that. You have to go. If you're not familiar with that scene, I'm not crazy.
Yeah, he's all sweaty and pale and looking crazy, and he's like, "Oh yeah, He's there's always seems to be a character like that in one of Stephen King's books. That's a little off, but when you read the books, you get to delve deep into that person's loony head. And when you see it on the screen, it's just it comes across.
Yeah, I don't know what it is about his writing that sometimes doesn't translate well.
Well, because he whenever he introduces a character, he has to tell their whole life story.
Yes.
And to some degree, he goes back and tells a bit about the character, so you understand some of their motivations for and it works. Some people, that's why some people I find him hard to read though, because they want to get in there and they want the blood and gore and they don't want to hear about.
Oh no, I totally don't want that. Like what I love about his books, it's like you open it and it's normal, everything's fine, everybody's happy, everything's going well, and then weirdness starts happening, and it starts happening so slowly. You're like, okay, I can see how that, and then you get in, he really pulls you in with normal.
He makes you comfortable. He makes you feel like this is just the world that you live in. Everything's the same as your life. All these people have the same kind of problems and stuff. And then all of a sudden this messed up. Like the best story, the short story. I don't remember the name of it, but it's the finger that comes out of the drain, and this guy just living his normal life in his apartment with his wife, and all of a sudden he starts having this finger come out of his drain at night, tapping around the drain, just a finger. And it's enough. It's so cerebral to read about it and how it kind of, am I going crazy? Is this really happening? It's I'm sure somebody out there knows the name of that short story. If you do put it in the chat, but it's a good, perfect example of his story writing where he makes you feel like you're comfortable, you're in your world. No, you're not. This is the crazy world where all this crazy, horrible stuff happens.
And then the clown shows up.
Right.
We should do, Leighann, we should do a Sci-Fi Saturday show focusing solely intentionally on Stephen King and them.
I know, I'm sorry. I kind of hijacked it because I heard his explanation of the Dark Tower and I was like, what?
No,
not everybody can do that.
It fits. I had no clue that they were all. I just thought that he was just some horror writer and he's just sitting around and like, oh, this is a great idea. Blah, horror, murder, kill, scare. I didn't realize they were all how unclassy am I?
Yeah,
anyway,
so the Stephen King universe before he beat Marvel to the punch there on building a big universe. And it's in the way that he does with the Dark Tower and stuff. It does border into sci-fi, just on a huge like cosmic scale. Borders into some sci-fi themes. So if you think of it that way,
what is the alien from It? Or isn't it an alien? The creature It itself is some sort of intergalactic space demon thing.
Spidery thing. At least I get that's the image I got from the movie.
Well, and they describe this, I guess you'd call it a species. They describe it a little bit more detail in the Dark Tower series. So if that's a theme and you want to know more about those that alien race, I guess you'd call it, Dark Tower series will take you there too.
Oh, Dark Tower series. I feel like rereading it.
Yeah, I need to, because it's been well, I read the first and second book again about a year ago, but I haven't read the other books since like the early 2000s. So
it really sounds like Netflix needs to get on the ball and do some kind of Dark Tower trilogy series followed by.
I don't understand why that hasn't been done. I can only think it's because he doesn't want it. Because he's, I mean, so much of I have no real information on that, but so much of his stuff has been done. You know,
some of it, so much of it has been done badly too. I mean, a lot of it has been.
Is it Nosferatu one of his, or is that am I wrong about that?
I think Nosferatu is way old. I thought the original.
Are you talking about the TV series? That's on? I don't know about that.
No, maybe it's not. Because sometimes Stephen King becomes like Netflix. Like you say, everything's on Netflix. You can get everything on Amazon. You can get everything at Walmart. He's become like that. So you think you read something good and scary. Oh, Stephen King wrote it. No.
Was it Castle Rock? That's a show that Stephen King based that's on right now. I think it's still going. It may not be, but it pulls in some different stuff from that.
You know, I did actually read one Stephen King book, and it was many, many moons ago. But what I remember from it was, and see, I'm going to mention this, and maybe you guys, somebody in the chat will be familiar with it. Now, I'm reading the book. I'm talking about the book I read, not the show, not any movies. And I say that because they're often different. But in the book, there was a person in a small house out in like the middle of nowhere, kind of on the edge of, suburbia, and I don't know, like Indian country, a house out there. And the monster was outside the house, and you could hear talon-like sounds on the roof as this creature was trying to stalk this person. And that's kind of all I remember. Somebody said, no, not Gerald's Game. So if that's familiar to anybody, that's kind of all I really remember. I also remember them, like somebody going down the road in a pickup truck with the same kind of thing. Something attacked the truck from the top. Yeah. You know how Stephen King is. It's kind of always... Anyway, so if y'all...
That kind of sounds like Night Flyer. That's where the pilot does the flying, and it was like okay, so yeah, maybe that's
not in this one anyway. Night Flyer is probably great. So if y'all I don't know.
The mist has big creatures like that in the mist, and that's kind of like ties back into what we're talking about too, with these creatures that can't live in our oxygen, that they have to live inside this mist with the oxygen. But there's huge creatures out there, and they I think it's a grocery store in that one though.
Grocery store.
Yeah. I've heard that, if I remember right, that his ending is different than the ending in the movie, but he really liked the ending they did in the movie. And I know what the ending is. If you haven't seen it, then I haven't seen the movie. No spoilers. Yeah. But I'd like to see the movie. It looks kind of interesting. But, of course, it is Stephen King.
Now, I do apologize for the derailment, and I will attempt to bring it back. Brian, do you have a favorite sci-fi bug movie? Or
Alien. Alien
is Alien is your favorite.
It's actually one of my favorite, my favorite movies in general. At least in my top 5, I'd say at least. But the Alien, because of its reproductive habits, is such a terrifying creature, and then it's kind of like a parasitic wasp. I don't know if you're familiar with how they reproduce, but
I am not. Although, I mean, do they have their own dating app? Are they on OkCupid? Are they?
You could check out and see. I haven't been on there in a while.
She really doesn't want to.
But,
no. So how do they reproduce? And let me grab my coffee.
You want something to hold on to? Yeah.
I do.
So they. We'll focus on caterpillar because that's the one that's most visible, but they'll actually land on the back of a caterpillar. They do it to spiders too. So maybe if you don't like spiders, they can be your hero, because they'll drag the spider out and sting it and paralyze it, and or the caterpillar, and then they will lay their eggs into the animal's body. And with the spider, they'll actually drag it back into its burrow or back into its nest and leave it there. And it'll still be alive. It's still alive, completely paralyzed, as it's the wasp's babies start to hatch. And when they hatch, they're hungry, and they eat the spider alive from the inside while it's paralyzed. And then they go out. Are you okay, Leighann?
Yes. Yeah.
Well, you know what? So I think that was that I saw that, and that concept was used in a Michael Crichton book, but it was it was the one where I think it was called Microbe, where they were reduced in size, and this happened to a human. A wasp stung a human and laid the eggs in the guy's arm.
Ew.
Yeah.
So, which book is that? That sounds gruesome.
You're creeping me out, lady.
Sorry, I'm creeping you out.
Right.
So that's how wasps reproduce, and you say that's sort of akin to how the alien. That's okay.
Well, because they hatch from their eggs, and they're in like I guess we'd call it like a larval form, the face hugger, and that latches on, and it injects itself into their body, and then it goes in their stomach. And basically, they're going about their once the face hugger falls off, they're just like, I'm going to get up and start moving around and stuff. And the next thing you know, it's erupting from their chest. So yeah, that's very akin to, and I think maybe some inspiration was taken from that parasitic wasp, as far as how can we make this alien so the most gruesome and invasive thing possible. And some of the imagery, even with the adult form, with its tongue that sticks out of its mouth, it's very invasive. It's very it makes you feel like this thing wants inside of me, and I don't want it inside of me.
Yeah.
Well, while we've got you and we're talking about bugs, I enjoyed the Alien movie, Alien 1 and 2, Alien 3, not so much, Alien 4, probably. I think I mentally blocked it out. I'm not really sure. But the Alien versus Predator stuff I enjoyed, and all this stuff. And then they came out with the Requiem and the new Alien movies, and I found them unfortunate. I would lacking. Yes, I would label them as unfortunate. I mean, there are a great many things about them, that are unfortunate. And I don't want to go on. I wanted to ask your opinion, BrainBug. What do you think of the newer movies?
So you're talking like Prometheus and all that
and
stuff. I like and this is one of the things I like about Starship Troopers too, is that when it gets into the anatomy and phylogeny and sort of the morphology of these alien species, that's what I love, is exploring that. I like that aspect of them, that hey, we get to let's look at some of these other creatures that are in that same lineage, because you see like what they call the hammerpede in Prometheus, that cobra looking thing, that the dumb scientist, this animal's rearing up like a cobra, and this guy's like, oh, I'm gonna get up in there and touch it, and it wrapped around him, and so I enjoy the things like that. Oh my
goodness, it makes my head hurt. Haven't these people seen any horror sci-fi movies?
Oh, I was horrified.
Yeah, carry on. I'm sorry, BrainBug.
No, you're fine. It's exactly what it's like. It's like, oh my God, do not touch that thing. Don't take a picture of it, sure, but don't go over there and touch it and stick your hand in there. But
run, Forrest, run.
And they cut it. They cut that critter, and it bleeds all over him, and it's the same acid blood the aliens have. So it burns right through us. Anyway, so you kind of get the impression that this is this is the fauna of this planet, or the fauna that these engineers are making anyway. But I enjoy that part of it, and getting into that. Where's this stuff? But I don't know if I prefer that or origin. I like to leave it a little bit of a mystery, like they did in the first couple of movies, where it's like this. An egg on a planet. We don't know any more about it than that. I also like the space jockeys look better than the engineer look, where they're they're like big humans that are super pale and whatnot. And I liked better when they found the body. Then the first one, the first Alien, remember they find the big pilot thing that's sitting in the chair, and it's supposed to be one of those things. And I like it better when they have the freaking trunk and whatnot. And then they said, oh no, that was just all helmet, and it's like, man, that sucks. I like unique looking aliens with weird appendages and stuff. I don't want a giant white dude.
Yeah, and they did a great job with that up to that point. It's just they, like you said, they switched it out to. Yeah, that was kind of well. All right, so let me do my little rant. Junk Shop Library has predicted the rant.
I saw that, and I was like, "Well, take it away, Griff."
Okay, so good morning, Critical Cripple Dave, and then there's more people who've showed up in the chat. I want to say hi to all of you. We don't see Dave often; he's always off doing his own thing in his own world. I just want to say hi. Good morning, Dave. Kelly Sellers, she's here too. Nice to have you. Anyway, all right. So Prometheus, the part you're talking about, I enjoyed. I really enjoyed me some. The actors, all the actors in the show did what they were supposed to do. For writing the characters, the writers made some of the characters stupid. Now I understand if you go watch, I've kind of been watching some of the behind the scenes and backstories and uncut footage of that particular thing. And it actually is true, according to this, that what's her name? Sellers, the daughter, the daughter chick, she intentionally hired kind of like the dumbest people she could because she wanted the mission to fail. But the dumbest doctors are still freaking doctors. And yeah, I guess some doctors can be dumb, but these people, you see if you watch this, these people are just dumb. They're just, how do you do that? Why do you do that?
Credible.
Why would you?
It's not.
It's credible. Not. It really sucks me out of, all right, so we'll go from there. And then, all right, so that's that one. That's all I really remember from that one, outside of some things grow a little faster than I think really should. A little bit in that one. It's the next movie. What is it called? Requiem? Is that one?
Requiem's the sequel, the second Alien versus Predator movie.
Oh, you're right. True. So what's the name of the...
So what came out the Prometheus?
What's after Prometheus?
Oh, shoot. I can't remember right now.
We all know what it is, though. It's where they went and they found Mike or Dave or whatever his name is, and Shaw, and the robot had killed Shaw. We all know. All right, so Paradise Lost, maybe. I don't know. Covenant. Thank you. See, awesome. Covenant. So we watched that one. In that video, it's sort of the same thing. These people are space traveling people, and yet they're so dumb. At least in Star Trek, Star Trek has. A lot of other things have explanations of how they do these things, address bugs and biology and stuff that's going to hurt you. These people travel this other planet. Clearly, there's flora and fauna all over the place. They take zero measures. You know, in Galaxy Quest, don't go out there, don't go out there. Is there air? You don't know. Right? Anybody that's familiar with Galaxy Quest when they land on the planet?
That really irritated me. You were on the planet for 10 minutes. Didn't nobody do a scan? Like, well, it looks good. And they take their helmet off. Like,
yeah. Covenant. And there's freaking spores flying. That's what happens. The spore gets into him. And it's like, dude.
That's where I'm going with that. All right, so when my rant continues in that second show, these guys get out of this thing. All right, so that's the first part. It's dumb enough that they get out and they don't have really any kind of protection against biological anything. They get out and they traipse across here to the old engineer ship that they find. While traipsing across, what, a hour walk? I don't know. They step on this thing and the thing pops up as like a spore, a pod. It gets in the dude's nose and in the other guy's ear. They look at the thing. They wander around 10, 15 minutes. You know, they head back to the ship. It comes out fully formed, the size of your freaking arm. These monsters come out just, oh, I don't feel good. Blah. And now there's this thing within minutes. It was just the growth rate was just ridiculous. It should have been one that, and then of course, not only did these things pop out minutes after getting a spore popped into their ear, this thing went in there and grew large enough that they didn't notice and popped out. And then it went around and started killing. But this stuff was just stupid with a capital S. Stupid. That's a super stupid. With like a diamond around it.
The special effects on that though. I did like the creature effects on it, but yeah, as far as it doesn't gel well with what we know, because the speed that the aliens, that the xenomorphs reproduced at and grew at was amazing and crazy. Now you can tell us that before that they could 15 minutes and you'd have a full grown one. No, I don't. That doesn't gel with what we know about their biology.
Well, you know, in the first one,
why I can't stand. Listen, I'll buy whatever you're selling. Okay, you set up the rules of your universe. You know, you tell me that in order to get into Hogwarts, you gotta at least have one magical parent, or you can't be a Muggle. And you have to get an owl to give you the message. Okay, fine. That's the universe. Don't come back 2 movies, 3 books later, changing the rules. Oh, anybody can get in. Anybody. Yeah, no, we take anybody. You can pay tuition. Yeah, you can go to Hogwarts. That's not how it works.
Right.
So just follow, Chris, we kind of talked about this before. You have follow the rules of your own universe. It's when you start changing it that fans get upset.
That's right.
Right.
That's right. And in this case, that was kind of what they did. In the original Alien, the xenomorph, it got on his face, and they put him in cryosleep, and there was kind of an assumption that there was a passage of time. Or no, he wasn't in cryosleep, in the medical bay. And you get the notion that there was a passage of time. They talk, they go, they look around. 12
hours or so, something.
Yeah. And then they go in there. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Yeah, no, I was following right along with you. So you get the assumption that it's been at least most of a day, if not multiple days, that it's incubating.
Yes. Something is going on in there. And then it bursts out of him, runs away, and now they think they've got something like this. But again, the movie gives you this feeling of a passage of time, that they're going around looking for it and stuff like this. If it were shot in the modern way, the way they did these Covenant and stuff, all that would have happened in the movie in 15 minutes. Okay, 15 minutes, we have to lift off. Oh, he's got a thing. Oh, it burst out of his chest. Oh, it's turned into this monster. Oh, it's turned into a huge, big monster that kills and eats entire peoples in that short amount of time. That's what happened.
It's the easy bake oven alien.
Right.
Yeah, there you go. I think that was some powerfully lazy writing right there, if you ask me. Ridley Scott, if you're watching.
The build up is part of the build up to what's going to happen. What's this thing going to look at when it comes out of him or out of her or whatever? That's part of the story. That's what we're there for. We want to anticipate and watch. Because in the first one, okay, it's on his face. They can't get it off. It bleeds acid. There's no way to remove it. Then they come back in there and it's laying on the floor, and he seems fine. So he goes and he freaking eating breakfast. The next thing you know, it's exploding from his chest. It's that's what almost, I want to say almost half of the film is that those steps, that
process.
And you when during that they do character building with the other characters. You get to understand them and their motivations and who they are, and then the last half of it, of course, we delve into the horror. Like Chris was saying, hunting around on the ship, looking for the monster, trying to figure out how to defeat it. Then, of course, Aliens, the sequel, takes a more of an action movie route. There's a swarm of them, and you got soldiers out there shooting at them and trying to survive on this. I guess they're basically stuck on this planet at the time, but they kind of logicked that all in there. All that was like logical. They kind of really did a good progression of time and made made sense. It was a great story. I enjoyed those. It was after that movie. After Aliens. It's with Covenant and Prometheus too, to an extent. They just throw you these characters that don't have a lot of depth and they're not making good decisions. And then the attack on them is sudden and vicious, and they all die horribly, and there's no build up. There's something terrible is on its way. It's just they're assholes up until they die. Yeah. It's characters like these that often have me rooting for the bad guy. Right. The monster needs to kill this man. Where is the monster? Yeah. Well, we say things like, they do things that you wouldn't expect. Right. And that's kind of a common trope. There's a car over there, engine running, all the doors are open. You can see everything is safe. Does the person run to that car? No, they run to the shed full of all kinds of sharp tools and equipment. And the killer gets them every freaking time. Right. That's the Geico commercial, right? Exactly. Right. Yeah. I'm mocking that. Exactly. What makes it wonderful. What makes that commercial for me is the killer is just standing there. He just really briefly just goes, y'all can't be that stupid. That's right. And I used to kind of go, that is so much better than the Caveman series. Oh. That's right. I used to think, that's crazy. People wouldn't. It's just stupid things that happen in a movie. And then of course we have a pandemic, a plague going through, and people are like, I'm not going to wear my mask. People running into a burning building. Yeah. Okay. It does happen. Right. People do run to the murder shed. It does happen. Overestimate how smart the average person is. What is it? George Carlin said was, think of the intelligence of the average person, and now remember that half the population is dumber than that person. Yeah, the average IQ is 100. Half the people are dumber than that. Well, to be kind to my species, which I'm normally not, you throw in the adrenaline dump and the fear. And we're not going to be at our decision-making best. That's true. That is true. Well, I personally, now we've made it through June, July, and we know all these crazy things that have happened, and we've seen all the craziness going on in the world. I am one of those who is rooting for alien invasion overlords for August 2020. That's what I would say. Yeah. Yeah, let's do that. Let's make that a thing, because I want to see some aliens. I would dig some aliens. I mean, hey, but alien overlords could be bug invasion. I'm hoping for the Vulcans. Yeah. I'm totally Team Vulcan on this. Could the Overlord invasion be any worse than the fascist invasion? Okay, we don't want to go politics. Yes. Do you think if the Vulcans showed up bringing their peace and logic and their scientific technology, that the humans we have in charge right now would do anything other than declare war on them, that they're a threat? Total war. And the Vulcans would be like, that's not what I said. Why aren't you listening? Like, I think humans would really, this version of humans would really break a Vulcan right now. Right. It's like, what? They would be all emotional. You know what? I'm getting back in my ship. We are not coming back here. We'll check back in 1,000 years, see if you guys have grown up a little bit. It's just marking us off the flight plan. Yes, I've said this several times, and I'm sure I'm supremely confident I stole it from somebody. But our planet is one of those planets that, as the aliens fly by, they reach over and lock their doors just in case. Right. Because what are we good at? Murder, death, kill. What do we like to do?
Murder, death, kill. Who do you like to do it with? Anybody. Hey, we watched a movie. It's Tom Cruise where he dies all the time. It's got 2 different names. Live, Die, Repeat. Live, Die, Repeat. That's one of the names for it. Anyway, in this movie, Tom Cruise is talking. He's introduced. He gets killed over and over every day. It's like a Groundhog Day, but for Tom Cruise in the military, and aliens are attacking. So every day every time he dies, he wakes up again and goes fights the aliens until it's actually, I enjoy the movie. But at the beginning of it, he's a reporter and he's being interviewed by somebody. And he's like, "We're humans. We fight. That's what we do." And he's not wrong. If another species, I wrote a sci-fi novel, and at one point we get attacked by another species, and there's a camera crew going through a hospital, and this doctor comes along and she's kind of triaging patients, and she says they don't know what they've done. They have fucked with the wrong monkeys. Because, that's hilarious. Anyway, because we are, and we don't stop. Listen,
we will kill each other. We're not going to hesitate with a different species.
Right. We'll kill each other for the opportunity to kill another species. Which one of us gets to do it first? We'll kill each other for. We're just good at it. It's what we do.
It's what we do.
That's right. All right, guys.
Grand human.
Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. Thank you, Leighann Lord, for joining us again and co-hosting with me. Again, this has been wonderful. You're always so much fun. And BrainBug, Brian the BrainBug. We're going to have to.
Nice to meet you, Brian.
I know.
Good.
Nice to meet you too, Leighann.
One of the things that often happens whenever I get a guest on the show like Brian, normally we've already had them on the show and we get to know all the particulars and stuff like that. But in this case, this is the first time for Brian. So it was wonderful. Thank you, Brian, for being on the show. Yeah. You are a lot of fun. I don't know if you guys know this. He kind of got to debating some Christians the other day on a call-in with Ethan. Yeah, him and Ethan did a call-in, and there was some Christians that called in, or theists, and BrainBug was there, man. He was representing.
Nice.
Yeah,
he put his thing down. I was impressed.
Yeah, that's something I've been doing for years. First time I got to do it, talking to someone face to face. I usually do it on forums or Facebook groups or whatever, and I think that a lot of times that I get misconstrued there, and people inject a lot of tone into what I'm saying when I'm typing it. So I'm glad I get to be up there on camera and they could hear my voice and hear that I'm just nice all the time. So you're not upsetting me. I like to talk about it.
This theist says something about the eye being something. He's like, "You want to talk about the eye? I've got me a," and he breaks out of, what was it?
There's a praying mantis. I would break it out now, but I don't want to give Leighann the heebie-jeebies. But they have a third eye on the middle of their forehead that it's just a light receptor. But that's how kind of because they were talking about how the eye evolved, and it's like we see all the different steps of the eye evolved. That's throughout the animal kingdom. I could go into that too, but we're probably don't have time for that.
Are people still using the eye to argue for design?
Some people, ignorant people, those who don't know better,
that don't understand how evolutionary biology works.
Because if this is design, it sucks.
It's unfortunate, is it not?
I've had contact lenses since I was 17. I have multiple pairs of glasses. Yeah, I want a refund.
2 out of 3 of us are wearing glasses right now.
Yeah, These are my computer glasses right here. Yeah. Oh, there you are. Yeah. You guys are white.
See, I'm just that surprised too.
So
awesome. Right. So. Real quick, I want to mention Leighann was with Bill Nye last night on a show. Did you guys know that? Did I forget? I forgot to mention it at the beginning. I am so horrible with intros. Anyway, Miss Leighann got to be on with Bill Nye, the science guy. The science guy was on her show, Bowtie, and I wasn't on her show. You guys were on a show together. And do you want to kind of tell us about that real quick?
Sure. Yesterday was the opening night for the Northeast Conference on Science and Skepticism. And they went virtual this year. And so the opening night last night was a game show that featured Bill Nye, myself, and Andrea Jones-Roy. We were the contestants. And it was all, pop culture and trivia and science and just lots of fun. An hour's worth of fun. And believe it or not, I didn't win. Andrea she came in first. I came in second. Bill Nye was third.
Slacker.
Right. Oh, totally. But I mean, pop culture references are can be very generational. So, or what your tastes are. So, you know, I had a lot of sympathy for the game builders who were trying to figure out, okay, what's going to make sense. But you'll love this. One of the games was they would give you 3 clues, and then you had to say what the 4th thing it would be in that list. So the first clue, and they said, Leighann, you're going to like this. And when they said that, I'm like, I think I know where we're going. The first clue was TOS. The second clue was TAS. Third clue was TNG. And then so I said DS9 is 4th. They were like, because Andrea and Bill were like, what? Like, yes, DS9. And so I won that round, and they said usually most people get thrown off with the second one, because those are the letters for the animated series. The animated series, yeah.
I even had to sit there and go,
Right, but because the minute they said TOS, I was like, come on.
Oh, yeah.
This was a gift.
Send out your fast bowlers. This was easy. Yes.
Right.
Is there any place where we can watch that?
If you go to nexus.org, I believe you can still register, because there are talks going on today. Like, I was over there this morning. I'm going back when I leave you guys, because I'll actually be doing like 15 minutes of stand up around 4 o'clock. And I say around 4 o'clock because of the tech issues. We might be running a little behind. So, there are tons of scientific and culture lectures today. I think somebody's doing superheroes and psychology. I think. I don't know if I read that wrong. But it's fun. They do it every year. I usually host, but because we're not live this year and it's virtual, it's a little different. But yeah, and that's nexus.org, and that's NECSS.org. That's how you can log in and register. And I think there's a suggested price. I don't know if they actually make you pay that. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah. Well, awesome. Thank you. And Brian, what do you got going on? Anything coming up? Any new bugs mailed to your house?
Well, we're going to be raising these on my channel. So you want to come along on that journey?
You're a bug. You're going to be a bug daddy.
Yeah, these are really gentle, really kind of cute creatures.
And tasty.
So I'm gonna take your word for it.
Okay, they look like leaves, though. It's really cool. Anyway, so we're going to be doing that. I don't got any more live bugs coming to me at this time, but you never know what the future holds.
You never know.
Later this week, I am going to be on Nervardia's show, Synausium, with Jen from Jen's Little Corner. We're gonna talk about spiders and stuff, so that's gonna be fun. Cool. Other than that, for August, what I have planned, I still have some stuff I'm working on regarding. Well, you know what? I'm not going to reveal anything, but let's just say it involves eating bugs. So you want to see me and some of your other YouTube or somebody else from YouTube community eating bugs.
Yeah,
so we're gonna do it.
I'm gonna pass.
I think I may be busy. I'm doing my nails that day. I'm getting my nails done. I ain't gonna be able to make it. I'll just have to pass.
Babysit my cat. I'm very busy.
Yeah. So I'd love to, though. Really.
Not live bugs, by the way.
No.
Oh yeah, okay, that makes it better. That makes it all better.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I forgot to mention what he'll do is he'll do unboxings of his bugs that they've mailed to his house, and he'll unbox them and welcome them home. And he'll also do rehousings, like whenever they molt and go from one style of bug to another style of bug, like from a sport model to a low flying coop kind of thing. He'll move it from one house to the other, and he does videos on it on the interwebs. Watches it. Actually, people watch it. I've seen him happen. Yeah.
See, this is why I saw the spiders. This is exactly why I did.
Yeah, when I do the rehousings or unboxings, a lot of these animals, it's the only time you get to see them, because once they get settled in, they'll dig their burrow or whatever, and they don't come out. Especially spiders.
Oh, well, like teenagers, yeah. You get them in, you raise them, and then they burrow into their rooms with their own technology. They're very ungrateful.
Right, and then it's come out for food.
Come out for food. Leave me alone. I don't want to hear about your curfew.
All right, guys. You guys have a great weekend. Again, thank you, Leighann, for joining me and co-hosting. Thank you, Brian the BrainBug. Thank you to the Damnation for everybody in the chat. You are wonderful. Facebook, Twitch, people who Twitch, YouTube reviewer who has to go back and watch my shows. Thank you. And, of course, to the people who are listening on the podcast. Thank you. Have a wonderful and safe weekend, and we will see you Monday. Take care. Thank you for watching the show. A special shout out to my gold level Patreon supporters, the Blazing Wizard Pope, Ian Davenport, Cindy, PLAZA, and tons of mice. Thank you and have a great day.